The 1960s were a golden age for perfume, not just in the way fragrances smelled, but in the way they looked. Every bottle was designed like a jewel, a treasure meant to be displayed proudly on your vanity. Part fashion statement, part sculpture, and always a little bit magical. These bottles weren't just containers, they were works of art. Symbols of luxury, glamour, and sometimes pure fantasy. 10 perfume bottles from the 1960s at our true works of art. Hermès Calèche, 1961. When Hermès launched Calèche, it brought the refined world of Sadery and Parisian luxury into a perfume bottle. The flacon was slim, graceful, almost architectural, decorated with the Hermès carriage that whispered of chic rides down the Champs-Élysées. It was a bottle that radiated class, understated yet unmistakably French. Rocha Madame Rocha, 1960. Madame Rocha came housed in a bottle that looked like it belonged on a grand piano or a mirrored tray in a Paris apartment. With its faceted body and jewel-like cap, it was elegance made tangible. Every spray felt like slipping into pearls and silk gloves. Estée Lauder Azuré, 1969. Estée Lauder closed out the decade with Azuré, a scent meant to capture the freedom and glamour of the Mediterranean. Its bottle was modern minimalism at its finest, tall, elegant, topped with a golden cap that gleamed like the sun. It stood out from the ornate designs of the early 60s, showing the sleek, bold direction fashion and fragrance were about to take. Estée Lauder Youth Dew. Estée Lauder made perfume approachable, but never ordinary. Youth Dew's brown glass bottle looked like a trinket from a treasure chest. Ribbed like ancient glasswork, cinched with a golden bow at the waist. It was decorative, feminine, and instantly recognizable, even across a crowded vanity. Lanvin Arpege, the mother and child silhouette. Lanvin's Arpege was as much an emblem as it was a perfume. That golden silhouette, a mother bending toward her child, became one of the most iconic graphics of 20th century fragrance. On the dresser, it looked less like a bottle and more like an heirloom carrying a story deeper than scent. Nina Ricci L'air du Temps, the Doves of Peace. Few bottles captured hearts like L'air du Temps. Two doves, lovers or symbols of peace, perched delicately on the stopper, their wings frozen mid-flight. It wasn't just perfume, it was sculpture. A message of romance, optimism, and hope, especially meaningful in the post-war years as the 1960s blossomed. Fabergé Thaygresse. In a decade of miniskirts and go-go boots, Thaygresse looked right at home. Its playful striped cap and bold design reflected the growing wild side of fashion. More than a fragrance, it was a conversation piece, sitting on a vanity like a little burst of rebellion. Givenchy Lanteddy. Lanteddy, created for Audrey Hepburn, came in a bottle that was pure understated chic. Rectangular clean, yet softened by delicate curves, it echoed Hepburn's own timeless elegance. When women placed it on their vanities, it was less about perfume and more about joining Audrey's world. Caron Fleurs de Rocaille. Caron's bottles were miniature jewelry, weighty, intricate, sparkling in the light. Fleurs de Rocaille in its faceted crystal flacon looked like something meant to sit in a duchess's drawing room. It made the ritual of applying perfume feel almost ceremonial. Fabergé Brut, 1964. Not all 1960s perfume bottles belonged to women. Brut came in a heavy green glass bottle, complete with a bold silver medallion stamped on the front. It was virile, glamorous, and proudly displayed in bathrooms and dressing rooms alike. Even men's cologne had its moment as art in glass. These bottles weren't just packaging. They were design statements, tiny sculptures that defined an era of glamour. Each one told a story of elegance, of romance, of luxury. And though decades have passed, their beauty remains timeless, as collectible, as enchanting as the day they first sparkled on the counter. So tell me, which of these bottles did you see on your mother's vanity, or maybe even on your own? Subscribe for more vintage beauty memories. Relive the glamour. Remember the glow. See you next time down memory lane.